How are we feeling about the Blue Jays' chances in New York? So, the Toronto Blue Jays have a stranglehold, a 2-0 lead in the American League Division Series as it shifts back to the Bronx for game number 3 coming up here tonight. I am obviously quite biased in the situation with the Blue Jays. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic. I understand a lot of momentum that has been built up by Toronto here based off of just how freaking well they've played over the last 2 games, right? Like that this has been just a sound and thorough ass kicking in the first 2 games of this playoff series. So it's difficult to overlook that. But they haven't played as well in the Bronx, and the Yankees have. The Yankees have played quite effectively in New York this season, not to the point of the Blue Jays playing well at home, but that they've played very well in New York. So I would not be surprised to see a good Yankees team here today. A couple of things to watch for, I think, in my opinion. Number one, the Jays, I think, have to get to Rodón right away. He is someone who, when he sets into a bit of a groove, he is very difficult to stop. And we've talked before for years about how up and down that guy can be and how when he is on, he is genuinely one of the best pitchers in baseball. But when he is off, you can't have him out there. Like he has a lot, like that roller coaster rides a lot with that guy, right? So there is, I think, a lot of intrigue in that. And so for Toronto, who have been able to get some big performances from George Springer out of the leadoff spot this season, today would be a very good day for that leadoff home run. If the Blue Jays can get to Rodón early and create a little bit of that doubt in him, then yes, I think that this could be a very positive day for the Toronto Blue Jays. And the other part of it is that the Yankee fan base right now is frustrated. And look, Yankee fans are passionate. There's no doubt about that. The Yankee fans aren't necessarily the most uplifting bunch when they're feeling down about things, right? Like you're not going to get who was it, Trey Turner, who was like 0 for a billion in the playoffs, and they gave him a standing ovation, and he was able to, like a movie, try to bounce back from that. They're not going to do that. If this game's 2-0 in the first, they're going to be booing, they're going to be heckling, they're going to be just berating this Yankee team, and that energy can kind of build up as well. So for Toronto, they have to make home field advantage not an advantage for the Yankees today. But what a situation to be going into now with Shane Bieber as your guy that you can rely on here in this series and in this spot to put this game away. There have been some times where it's been a bit of a shaky start for him, but I think getting that extra rest to kind of get settled in, getting the understanding you know what you are facing, and a couple of days of watching this Yankee team and see how they react to specifically the pitches low in the zone, I think Toronto has to feel good about where they are at right now. For the Yankees, it's kind of obvious, right? Like for New York, they need the big guys to show up. They need they need Aaron Judge to be Aaron Judge, and not just with nobody on and 1 out in the 3rd inning. They need him to come up with big moments in the series, and they need Carlos Stanton to be the guy who he has been come playoff time so many times before. They need their best players to be their best players. Deeds in the chat, and again, let me know your thoughts on the Blue Jays and the Yankees here today. But Deeds says, I think it'll be a tight game. I agree with that. I think this is going to be snug. I think this is going to be a bit more of a white-knuckle game for most of the way through, which makes it a bullpen game. And while the Blue Jays have been able to get to the Yankees bullpen before, the back end of it, while not flawless, is still pretty strong. You could say that about Toronto's as well. And this is where I'm a little bit frustrated with the roster decisions. And I know that people were frustrated with my frustration when I made the short about the Jays lineup. But I I have really liked Louis Varland lately. I don't like that he's kind of taken out of this spot with the assumption, I guess, that he's going to be kind of the opener against the Yankees in game 4 should the series get there. And so like I would feel much more comfortable if he was coming out in the 7th inning of this one instead of the 1st inning of the next game. And you have Scherzer do that and have Scherzer be the opener with Lauer and try to limit everything that way. That's personally how I would have liked to see this play out, and let Varland be the big guy in the back part of the bullpen in this. Not that he hasn't before, like they haven't been saving him or Lauer, but that's how I would like to see them utilize this. But I think this is going to come down to the bullpens, and I think this is going to be very stressful for both sides going forward. So we will see how it all plays out. But let me know your predictions out there in the chat as we go along.